Well, it, you know, do we,
Ready when you are.
it's a long story.
Oh, great.
Good job, Matt.
So we're ready to go.
So is the link working?
Go without the go-to meeting right now.
I'm just waiting for the red light to come on. All set?
Yep, all set.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll call the meeting in order of the Town of Harwich Finance Committee. This is Thursday, July 21st, 2022. And thank you, Matt, for solving our technical issues to get us organized and going forward here. We have no one in the public, so if they were, I would ask them if they were going to plan on recording anything, but we don't have anybody, so we'll move on from that. Okay, public comments and announcements. We have no public here, so we assume we have no comments or announcements. Under new business, I do want to remember the passing of our colleague Jack Brown, a longtime member of the Finance Committee, a huge influence in this town. I always remember Jack as being detail-oriented, but also being able to get between parties that weren't exactly agreeing and bring them to a consensus or some, common ground that they could get something done and move forward. I think, when I saw Jack in action, let's put it that way, it was always definitely about moving the town forward, and I think we all appreciate that. He will be missed. His kind are hard to come by, quite frankly. And I think it leaves a hole in the town of Harwich, so I don't know if anybody else have any thoughts or,
I agree with everything you said.
yeah,
He was terrific.
yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah, when I came onto the committee, Jack was the chair, and couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Right, and always with the interest of the town. I mean, it was all about, all about the town, not about Jack, it was about the town, so, he will be missed. So any other comments or? Okay, we have the minutes of June 2nd, 2022. I would entertain a motion to approve those.
Seconded.
Okay. By the way, I just want to point out, I'm going to get to it in a second. Dana has agreed, based on the tape, that he will do the minutes, so we don't have to worry about the minutes, so we're off on that one. So,
I'll second that.
no, you're making the motion.
First one.
Oh, say that again?
You're making the motion to approve the minutes of June 2nd.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 2nd.
All right, thank you.
Second.
And it's been seconded. Discussion?
No, I think-
Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote, I guess. So you guys been doing individual votes,
Yeah,
I think?
yeah.
Can we just all say aye?
I know, do the,
I have to abstain because I wasn't. on the
okay,
committee.
that's fine.
Abstain too.
You're abstaining? Okay, so Mark is an aye. Karen?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye, so we have 4. So, okay, thank you very much. Dana, our clerk, sent me an email today, said, I'm not gonna name names, his wife has COVID, just came down with it. Dana hasn't tested positive yet, but he's hoping he's gonna be okay. His son had another medical emergency that he had to deal with, so he was not able to join us tonight, although we talked to him briefly on the telephone. And he did say that he can do the meeting minutes from the tape, so, okay, so we'll go on with that.
Too bad.
The other part of the thing I was hoping to have and had discussion with Rich Larios, our Capital Outlay Committee Chair. We're trying to get him in here, as the agenda states, to give us a snapshot of what's coming up in the capital plan, so we can get ahead of things for the current year. He got back to me after we post the agenda, that he just thought he couldn't get it put together and get the information he's collecting from the different department heads and whatnot in time to come this evening. So if you're in agreement, we'll bring him back or ask him to come next month. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. All right, next we get, that time of year, since we're just getting organized, the FinCom liaison assignments. I'll just pass out. This is what we had from last, I took the last list from last time. Karen has already volunteered to take golf, right, Karen?
Yes.
As long as everybody's agreed with that. The other thing I want to point out is Dana's not here, so he will end up taking, 1 or 2 we will end up with 2 additional board members coming on board, hopefully, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, sooner rather than later. And so I would ask you to pick 1 or 2 for yourself, and we'll start filling in the blanks, so. And I don't know what assignments you had last year, whether you want to continue with some of those or not. And by the way, my history and viewpoint of liaisons, when I was liaisons to the committee, the way I approached it, I would identify to the chair that I was a liaison, usually attend their next meeting, introduce myself, and say, hey, I'm here to help you however I can, but I'm not going to be intrusive, and I never felt the need to go to all their meetings and that kind of thing. But when they needed me on a topic, either they wanted to talk to me or have me come in, I was always available to do that. And I think, Angela, that's probably the way you handle it as well, so. But it is important to identify, that you are the liaison to a certain board or committee, and make sure they understand you're ready to chip in however you need to help, so.
So basically what you want is us to sign where we would like.
Well, I'm gonna give you your first choice first,
Okay.
and then we'll start filling in the blanks, so. Karen took golf. So, all right, so let's just add Karen and Mark are the appointments to capital outlay.
Yep. We're also on Sisson Road.
What's that?
We're also on Sisson Road, the bottom.
Yeah, whenever that takes place, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got those 2.
I'll go for harbor and waterways.
What's that?
Harbor and waterways.
Harbor and Waterways, yeah.
Okay. So you probably want to get some dredging done, right? Okay. Who's got a passion for the school system?
I'll take the Monterey Regional School.
Okay.
Are we just going randomly here?
Well, if you have a first choice, I'd like you to,
CPC, since I.
CPC, okay, good. All right, good,
That's good.
good. I'll take police and fire. I'll also take DPW unless somebody else wants it. Dana can't take it because, he's
Right.
there, so.
I'll do DPW.
You'll do DPW, okay, thanks, Angela.
I'll do the library, because I had them last year.
Okay,
Oh, I circled the library.
I'll take the tech.
okay.
We're gonna have 2 new members at some point.
Oh, we are, so we gotta leave some space.
Or we could give it to them when they come, like,
You
I
can
mean,
only,
I'll take recreation and youth if you want, and then if somebody wants it later, they can have it.
okay, so Karen's taking rec and youth. Who was dealing with water and wastewater last year?
I
John
don't
spent a
know.
lot of time with,
I don't remember.
with them,
Okay, well, I'll take that.
the big one this year.
By the way, our liaison from the selectmen is Mary Anderson, so,
Oh, so Mary's out, so that's the selectman to us.
yeah, I mean, the selectmen, it's on this list, but we're all sort of liaisons to selectmen, but Mary is our, she did it last year, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. How about the charter review? It sounds like there may be some activity this year with the charter review committee. Angela, would you be willing to help out on that, because you got some history with,
I'll give it a shot.
okay, I mean, yeah, we need 2 folks on it, so,
I'll take it on.
okay, good. It's a good way to learn a little bit
Sure.
more about, what
Yeah.
goes on.
We should learn. Charter review, right?
Okay, Mark, you got any others you want to take, just because people have signed up for more than one? You're leaving.
We'll look over your shoulder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Here.
There's assessors, planning board, and real estate and open spaces.
I'll take assessors.
What do you want to take?
Assessors.
Okay, all right.
The charter
that Mr.
review
Waystack?
isn't started, right, so we have to wait till like a
Okay, so at the moment, unless somebody has a burning desire, why don't we leave these, we have real estate, open space, and planning board. Maybe let those go until we get our new members and Dana's back or whatever,
Sounds good.
and we'll have some opportunities to fill them in, okay?
Sure.
So let me just read what I have. Assessors, Mark Amarez is gonna take that. CPC, Dan's gonna take that. DPW, Angelo has that. I have police and fire. Karen has golf. Harbor and Waterways is Angelo. Library is Dan. Planning Board and Real Estate and Open Space Committee vacant at the moment. Rec and Youth, Karen. Monomoy Regional School, Mark Kelleher has that. Cape Cod Tech, Mark Amarez has. I have water and wastewater. We know that Mary Anderson is our selectman liaison. We have appointments to the Capital Outlay Committee, Karen and Mark Kelleher. And appointments to Charter Review, Angelo and Dan. And then Assistant Road, whatever happens there, Karen and Mark Kelleher will be our representatives, right?
Got it.
Okay. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
And by the way, if you go home and decide you really can't do that or something, let us know. And
You want us to just reach out to the leads of those departments and/or committees, just to
yeah,
introduce ourselves?
right. So, you know, you're appointed as their liaisons, and I don't know how you did it last year, but my approach has always been just make contact with the chair
Yep.
of the board or committee, let them know you're the finance committee liaison.
Yep.
And again, you know, you're here to help, and, you know, oftentimes it's helpful to show up at their next meeting or sometime in the fall, and just introduce yourself, make yourself known. And, of course, you bring any of the information back here, you know, if there's some needs or concerns or whatever, okay? I find it particularly useful if any of these boards or committees develop an article, for instance, for, you know, going forward to town meeting, that if you can sit with them and get it explained to you first, you can help us all with it, you know,
Right.
once we get back here, so.
Perfect.
All right, so. Okay. All right, timeline, this is item 5, timeline plans for the year ahead. I'm gonna intercept that a little bit. I sent you all an email that I got from the town administrator. This chart, did everybody get this chart?
I don't have it.
Yeah,
Mark,
have
did
it
you
with
get
me.
this? Mark?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so you got it. You got it? You haven't seen it? Here, pass it down. The Board of Selectmen was, and the town administrator, working through on the calendar for getting us to town meeting in the year ahead, which would be 2023. And the two items that are highlighted in yellow are the changes that affect us potentially. So I'm not sure, I think last year you didn't have an all-day session on a Saturday with boards and committees.
no, we missed that dearly.
Okay, so they're proposing to get back to that form.
I think it's a great idea.
It is a great idea. It's an all-day marathon. What typically happens is the Board of Selectmen chair runs the meeting for half the day, then the Finance Committee takes over, a chairman takes over for the second half, and the boards and committees come in, we go through the budgets. It's kind of like a big dump, but it gets everybody sitting around this table and working through the issues, if you will, so. Angela?
Yeah, I think that's fine, but I've got a question.
Yep.
When you and I were on this committee a long time ago, what we did have from the town administrator was the budget that was set for that department. And then during every 4 months, I think it was 4 months, if I can remember it correctly, we got how much he spent or additional numbers and everything. We're not gonna have any, we don't have any information like that that's coming from the town
Well, on
administrator.
this schedule, it's compressed, there's no doubt about it.
It just doesn't,
But the intent, I mean, this isn't necessarily all-inclusive, but the intent is to provide enough time between the time we make decisions and town meeting.
No, I
So, you know, the public can get input to it and all that
I
stuff.
understand, but it would be helpful if we had the information that we've tried to get a couple of times last year
Okay,
for this committee, and we haven't been able to get it.
okay, all right.
And
That's a discussion with the town administrator we can have, no doubt about it. For
That-
now,
I'm sorry.
for now, we're just trying to figure out if these two yellow lines are okay with us, or we have something different we propose.
I can tell you I'll be remote on the 4th. I'll be remote for the whole month of March. We had talked about that, but I'm happy to join remotely.
I'm sure there's gonna be remote participation in that process.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because I know sometimes, I mean, obviously it would be better to be in person. And the other question, I had a question for that. That's when the department heads come in and we have an opportunity to ask questions and things like that,
Yep.
right? Okay.
As opposed to what my sense is, last year, you may have had a meeting, you had two department heads come in, make presentations,
It's very late in the game.
then your next meeting, you had some more time. So this kind of shotgun approach. This gets it concentrated, very concentrated in that day. And to support that, to Angelo's point, you need the budget book ahead of time to be able to figure out what your questions are, okay? So between now and then, we gotta make sure with the town administrator, we have an agreement on that.
maybe you should chat with them and tell them what we need. So I don't
Quite
think-
frankly, further on in here, I'm gonna be recommending that we try and get our new finance director here next month, who Joe would probably bring to the meeting, and that may be a time to solidify some.
Whatever.
Huh? So does that meeting, and then 5 days later, which is a Thursday, we would hold a public hearing on the budget? Okay?
Budget to FinCom, POS since budget to February 13th. Yeah, so just to your reference, Angelo, so what I'm looking on here is on February 13th, the Board of Selectmen have committed to sending us FinCom the budget. So if we have that in our hands, we have time to prepare
Right.
for the 4th, so that's good. I just want to, I have created a separate schedule because there's a few other things on there that I think we need to point out, but I think, yeah, I think, so they're committing to that because they looked at that schedule.
Well, if
They
you-
adjusted their front end
Yeah,
to accommodate these two lines we have on
which
here,
is great,
quite
yeah,
frankly.
that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, but they, excuse me, sorry. Yes, this gives you the number of dollars that the department was given in their budget. But the next part of it is, how much have they spent against it? Because if he was given $1,000 on January, and by February, they had spent $5,000, we don't want to give them more money. Or if they spent 1,000 and then there's, you're gonna work behind it, you need to know what's going on with the money.
Yeah,
With the current year budget, in order to prepare for the next year budget, is that what you're saying?
With the current year budget, that's how you get to the next year budget.
In other words, you know, what typically happens is, you can have a budget, let's say there's a line item for computers. Let's say it's $40,000. And for whatever group or committee or whatever you loaded up, you did your once every 5-year buy. The next year, you should expect not to see that in the budget.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of feedback.
Well,
Yeah.
that depends, like,
All right, say it's potatoes, you know.
you wanna break it into fifths.
I
and
understand,
roll it.
I understand. Well, you would do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay? So I would tell the TA that we're all right. All right. Karen, did you have some other things you wanted to discuss on that topic?
Yeah, I just, on that particular date, I just wanted to make sure we said that we're gonna hold a public hearing on the budget. If on the 4th we meet, I just wanna make sure we have enough time, because I think you have to publish a notice of that hearing in the newspaper. So does that give you enough time between the 4th?
We would publish the notice of the hearing before that.
Okay, I just wanna make sure it gives you enough time, okay.
But your point is well taken. We need to make sure we post that with enough time.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yep.
So a couple of things that I heard in the last couple of weeks when the town administrator's been talking to the Board of Selectmen about this whole schedule are a couple of key things from our perspective, because again, this past year was a little lagging, as we know, or a lot lagging, if we're honest. But what we did learn is that by the end of August the 31st, all of the department heads are gonna have submitted their preliminary ops budgets, capital requests, CPC applications, and proposed warrants to the town administrator, which is great. And then there's the town administrator presents it to the capital outlay committee in early September, I believe. And then through that period between September and November, that capital outlay committee will spend a lot of time meeting with department heads and doing all kinds of things to try and analyze those warrants, and obviously that stuff comes back to us. So I'm just talking general timelines right now, but this is how I see it, based on what I've heard and what I've read about what has happened in prior years.
Sure.
And then somewhere around in the February time frame is when before I go to that, I heard in Board of Selectmen meeting a couple weeks ago that there might be a special town meeting coming up.
I saw it in the paper today.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that in the paper. What's that about? Does anybody?
They had no definition, but they saved the date of, I'm making this up, September 29th or
26th?
something? Huh?
26th?
Sixth, I thought, yeah.
Saved the date.
Yeah.
I had no idea, I'm in the dark.
Yeah, because I have that in my schedule, because I heard it being discussed, and I don't know what it's about, but I think we ought to figure that out.
If you look in the Chronicle, for instance.
Yeah, I'm
under-
gonna pick that
Under
up.
the town, sort of at the end of the report.
Yeah.
It mentions that, if I remember correctly. So I'm sure there's gonna be all kinds of questions coming up. What is that? What are we saving it for? What are we doing? So,
Okay, I didn't know if they had mentioned that to
they
you.
need to tell, obviously, they need to figure out, they need one, number one. And number two, what's the topic and what's all the details associated with it.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the topic is. Who knows?
In the dark.
Okay. And then I think, so on December 12th is when I have noted here that the capital outlay is gonna have a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen and FinCom, so that's a key date for our team. That's December 12th. And that's a big one. And then final review of the capital outlay budget and all that stuff, I have January 2023.
Okay, so if the capital outlay committee is going to present, what was the date you said, September what?
They're gonna, December 12th.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because they do all that work throughout the fall,
Yeah, yeah.
as I understand it. And then December 12th is when that team or that committee brings it forward to the Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee on the 12th of December this year. And then it all gets finalized in the January timeframe, as I understand it. And then I had a note that town administrator submits the comprehensive budget and budget message on January 23rd. I don't know where I got that date. I don't know if that's in your list there, but
January 23rd.
that sounded,
It sounded,
The budget message usually happens in the
It's here.
early fall, because department heads have to follow.
yeah, I
the
might have
budget message.
typoed that. I don't know if that's right. So,
What was the date?
January 23rd, is it on there? It's just the message. It's really, well, let me see. January 23rd.
Unless they change the definition what a budget message is,
Well, here,
but
yeah, this says it on yours, TA submits comprehensive budget, not budget message, just the budget to the Board of Selectmen on
Right,
January 23rd.
right, the message happens like,
Far in advance.
yeah, because you gotta know I'm making this up, but you gotta know, okay, if we're gonna do a 3% salary thing or something or whatever, then you gotta know that ahead of time so you can develop your budget.
I mean, so that's generally the time, and those are the big dates. I mean, from my perspective, a big part of this, huge part of this is, especially this year, is what's happening, what'll happen, what we'll learn in the capital outlay area.
Sure. So based on what the selectmen have here, that we agree with our 2 items in the schedule in general.
Yeah,
To do, my suggestion is you take your document
yeah,
and upgrade it, revision A or something.
yep,
And maybe next month you share that with the committee.
yep, I can do that. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's pretty much
That way
updated.
we're all on board. And if you want to put in who's not going to be here at certain times or dates, that would be helpful too, you know.
Yeah, I will do that, because I have a notes section where I put in I'll be remote for certain
And
sections.
Dana will be, I think, in
Yeah, he'll be remote
someplace.
also.
Yeah.
As we meet with our committees, we'll gather that information much sooner than these dates. I mean, if I'm gonna go talk to the Department of Public Works, I will probably know 2 days after he's come up with the numbers, what they are. I mean, we get the information as we work with them.
Yeah,
Well-
it's whatever, I think there may be some guidelines, I wanna say rules around what we can share and what we
Right, and I
can't.
also think that as individual department heads put their stuff together, instead of just bringing it directly to us, it has to go through the process of
Yes.
going to the town administrator, because he manages all those departments. And just because Fred says, I need this, he may say, well, we can't do that, but we could do this, and it starts to change things, so, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you take that assignment, that would be great, Karen.
yeah, I got it.
Update that and, okay? Anything else on that topic? Okay, the free cash discussion, we're gonna have, Dana is preparing a presentation, obviously that will happen next month. Under old business financial reports, what I'd like to do there, suggest there is that we invite in the new finance director, whom I haven't met, I don't know if anybody else has met, but I haven't met, Anne Marie Ellis, and have her and the town administrator come see us next month and at least introduce themselves, or introduce her. And I think at that point, we could have a discussion about what financial information from the finance director we would find helpful as we go through the budget, process, i.e. for capital outlay, they're gonna wanna see, and we will too, a debt schedule, for instance. And what does it mean when we start bringing some of these other projects on in the sequence you're talking about, and what's the total debt load, and, all that kind of stuff. I don't need to know every month, what the operating cash is and that kind of stuff. But things we need to do our business, we need to be able to get in a timely manner, so that's what I would do for next month. Is everybody okay with that?
It's fine.
Hopefully they will be able to get there. We had the MMA FinCom handbook. I know we were talking about hard copies or whatever. I've downloaded it to my desktop and it's just there as a thing I pull up whenever I want it. I don't know what anybody else has done. Dan, I think maybe you and Karen made hard copies.
I haven't yet, but.
I have hard copy.
Okay, I don't know if anybody else you can get, right? I mean, that's the
Grab
way
it
I
right
look.
now if I need to.
That's the way I look at it, right? So, you guys okay with that part of it? Okay. And then the Dana was gonna look into, copies of the charter and bylaws. What did he tell me? He didn't tell me anything about that. So he's still working that? Does everybody still need that? Are you putting it on your computer, Mark? Just,
I have a copy of the town shop.
Okay.
This is my finance folder, so. I've got the charter and committee handbook. What is this? Got the charter, the committee handbook, and the open meeting law guide.
okay, all right, you got it all.
I
Does
have
it
the
not-
2021 charter.
You good?
Is the charter, does this include, is this considered the bylaws of
No.
the towns? There's a separate,
Separate.
oh, okay, I don't have that.
Hey, Dan, if you have a chance, I'll drop by your house and pick up a copy if you could on the charter.
A copy of
The charter,
the charter?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll just take it down to Merlin and copy it up and bring it right back to you.
I can give it to you tonight.
Okay.
Okay, all right, on the recording secretary, Dana reports, he met with Joe Powers about the secretary position, secretary to take minutes and whatnot here. Administration will post it and advertise it in several places. They're looking for a person who's willing to take our minutes as well as capital outlay minutes, so it'll be a combined thing. Administration will cover the cost of capital outlay, and FinCom will get priority if there's a conflict in scheduling. Pay range, it's between $20 and $26, so.
Great.
Okay. Okay, we need to establish a regular meeting time, location, and date. If you look at the website, it says FinCom meets the second Thursday of every month, 6 PM in the community center. We're not in the community center.
No,
Here we are. It's the third Thursday because Dana needed to change it, unfortunately, and 6 PM.
That's fine. That's here.
Well, if I remember right, CPC meets on the second Thursday of the month.
Yep.
In this room.
What about the room right across there?
that's,
We can do that.
it's brutal.
How about,
Technology.
hey, Matt,
Yeah,
at the community center, do you have any meeting rooms set up with camera?
we do.
Which one?
We have one, that are pretty much, I think the only one we use is, like a hall, it's got a short, like, a little room with like a long table.
It's the studio.
The studio, yeah.
You know, with the,
Yeah, I know it's, I
background?
know it's, yeah,
it's kind of small.
yeah.
Yeah, but it could fit, I think the whole board could fit on the table.
Yeah, but if we're open to the public,
I think people can come in and sit if they want to.
think there's room there?
There's some room, yeah.
You know, we use that room across there,
That was brutal.
not
No, no, yeah, I know.
down there.
I know, and that's got the camera you turn on
It has a
yourself.
camera and everything else in
Yeah.
there.
What's your druthers? You wanna meet here, you wanna meet in the community center? And we can always change.
Yeah, we could do it the third
Closer here.
Thursday.
You wanna try that room?
Yeah, we did it all last year, it worked
No,
out fine.
last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the second Thursday okay?
6 PM?
6 or 6:30, whatever you want.
I think we switched it to 6 o'clock last year, didn't we? Because it
I think a couple of meetings we went at 6 because we had so
Yeah.
much to do.
Yeah.
Whatever
I'm happy
works.
with 6 if we can do it
6
at
would be
6.
better.
6 is better?
Yeah, so second Thursday every month.
Yep, 6 PM in the small, what do you call it, small meeting room?
The studio. The community center studio.
No, we're talking about here.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Okay, let's try that, we can always adjust it. Okay, you good with that?
Yeah, and I assume that the chairman will be sending us the day before a list of what we'll be doing and other stuff.
The agenda?
Yeah,
Okay,
Well, that has to be posted anyway.
yeah,
That's like a week in advance or something. we
Yeah.
get it.
well, it was posted on the website.
Yeah.
And,
3 days in advance, I think.
no, it was posted last week on the website. But you just need to go there and download it, but if you don't wanna do that, I'll send it to you. That's fine. Is your preference I send it to you?
I guess go get it.
I have no preference. I downloaded
You can
this.
just link to the page and it's there.
Yeah.
just on page.
Okay. All right. So we're set with that. We're short 2 members. I have had discussions with Michael Ford. A week or so ago, he sent me an email, Karen, I share it with you, that he thought he was gonna get appointments done. He had at that time 3 candidates for 2 positions. He was glad I reminded him that we were meeting tonight and thought he would be able to get the appointments done, but obviously that didn't happen. But it sounds like it's imminent, and I pushed him again this morning, but we'll see. So-
Can people still apply?
I ran into somebody last week and I said, fill out the activity thing and apply, and until they're filled.
Mhm.
Okay, and it is up to the moderator to fill it, not us, but,
Yep. Yep.
just have them fill out a citizen activity form and send it over. So,
It's on our website. The
yeah,
form.
yeah. Okay, so we'll know something about that. I just want to point out, before we conclude here, I want to push you towards looking at that Chronicle article about funding new positions. I think Bill Galvin wrote it this week because at this last cycle for town meeting, there were 2 new positions that were appointed, not appointed, 2 new positions that were in the budget.
Right.
Okay? And that got my attention because in my 15 years as a selectman, I don't think we ever did that. We always did it as an article and did it that way. And there was a lot of discussion in there about asking people that had, like Sandy Hall and some other folks, you know, that has some history of the town about what they thought and blah, 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 blah. It sounds like there will be some sort of policy going forward about that, and I don't know which side of the fence they're looking at. I always looked at it as, well, they talked a lot about transparency in the process. I looked at it more importantly like, okay, I'm bringing a position on board, it's probably gonna last forever, right? Because once you do it, it lasts forever. So I better bring the tax base with me, which means put it in as an article, as an override, have the taxes appropriated to support that position. Because one year you could have lots of free cash, you hire 10 people, the next year you have none. You know, so, we'll see where that one goes. But I encourage you to read the article, okay?
Yeah, we brought up the same topic this year about how it was done in the past, and it went the direction it did because, I don't know, people didn't, it wasn't agreed that that was the way we should go. But we'll see, yeah,
We will see.
I'm sure it's,
And by the way, we have some say in it, so.
yeah.
Okay, anything else we need to discuss? Hearing none, we will see you next month. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
summer, and hopefully Dana and his family get better and all that, and,
It's going
Yeah.
around.
okay, Matt, we're done.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.